This episode is brought to you by Iams Pet Food. When you choose Iams dry dog or cat food, you can see a difference in your pet with your own eyes. Healthy energy in 5 days, healthy digestion in 10 days, and healthy skin and coat in just 25 days. Satisfaction for you and them. Guaranteed or your money back. Feed Iams dry dog or cat food and see a visible difference. Visit iams.com/difference to learn more.
Kroger Delivery makes it easy to do your holiday shopping in a jingle. There might be a lot on your to-do list, but thanks to Kroger Delivery, you can get everything you need delivered straight to your door at the same great prices you'd find in store. Our refrigerated trucks always ensure that your groceries arrive fresh. And right now, you can save $20 on your first order of $75 or more and get free delivery with a Boost membership. Restrictions apply. See site for details. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
You said, why did she sue me? Why didn't she just talk to me? She did try to talk to you. So did you ever talk to her about it when she sent you? You remember getting the letter. So did you ever talk to her after you got the letter?
Well, that letter was sent back in 2019. And when I found out about the case, then, I had to go back and look at my documents.
No, I'm asking what you did when you got the letter from your neighboring property owner.
Well...
Did you ignore her?
I ignored her.
Right, that's why you're being sued.
This is the plaintiff, Pamela Pace. She says her neighbor's wild, unruly vegetation hangs down onto her property, and half her patio is now unusable. She's contacted the defendant numerous times about the encroachment. He doesn't take pride in his property, and she's suing the guy for the $450 she had to pay a landscaper to rectify the problem. This is the defendant, Richard Campbell. He says this woman never contacted him about any kind of vegetation problem on his property. And if she had the common decency to do so, they wouldn't be here today. This woman just filed a lawsuit against him. He's pretty sure he's within his rights and isn't giving this rude woman a penny. He's accused of allowing an overgrowth.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
The People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian is presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Ms. Pace, you're suing. You don't actually live there, right? You own the property?
That's right.
You're suing the neighboring property owner, Mr. Campbell. Do you actually live there, Mr. Campbell?
No, I don't.
Okay, you're both landlords. All right. You're suing the neighboring property owner, Mr. Campbell, for $450 to trim trees that have overgrown into your property. Talk to me and tell me what happened.
For years, the bushes on the defendant's property has grown up through the fence. I have a wood fence on my side of the property that has been there since I've owned the property. And these bushes just come right up through the boards and have damaged the fence. I've had to install 4x4s and posts in the ground to keep my fence up. Because the vegetation pushes it over. And this time, the rain caused a lot of growth over a short period of time. And my tenants complained that it was growing, taking up room in their patio, overgrowing their furniture, and they wanted it removed. So I had to pay the gardener, who comes once a week, extra to do this extra work.
But why was it so much, $450? I mean, I presume the gardener has one of those electric,
Yeah, you should. Well, I have
gas-powered things.
I have photos, and I think you'll understand when you see this.
So let's take a look at the photos. Okay, take a look at the photos that I have up there now.
Yes.
Is that photo taken by somebody standing on your property?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the fence we're talking about, right?
That is the fence.
Okay.
That is my fence that separates the back of my lot from the side of his
What
lot.
kind of bushes are these?
I'm not sure. They kind of remind me of bougainvillea
Me too.
without the flowers.
Yeah, me too, because of the
These
root growth.
photographs were taken in 2018
Yeah.
and were sent along with the first letter that I wrote
to him,
Mr. Campbell.
And did you ever get a response from him?
Nothing.
Did you not receive her letter?
I do remember it. I don't have it. I went looking for it, and I don't have it.
Okay, but the interesting thing is that in your answer to the complaint, you said, why did she sue me? Why didn't she just talk to me? She did try to talk to you. So did you ever talk to her about it when she sent you you remember getting the letter. So did you ever talk to her after you got the letter?
Well, that letter was sent back in 2019, and when I found out about the case, then, I had to go back and look at my documents.
No, I'm asking what you did when you got the letter from your neighboring property owner.
Well,
Did you ignore her?
I ignored her.
Right, that's why you're being sued. So what's the big mystery? Okay, so let's see. Here's the thing. It takes a while to get these kind of root systems coming this way, and it's invariably it's going to be a problem if they're not cut down. But you sent the second letter?
Yes, and that was after the big explosion of growth. I have 11
Is this after
photos.
is this after the trees were cut? The bushes were cut?
No, this was before. This
Before,
was
okay.
the first, with the first letter. That's what it
What
was
is
like.
this right here that I'm looking at?
That's the one that I took this year, after the big explosion of growth.
Okay, wait, because I need to try to understand. So the furniture I'm looking at is on your property.
Yes, it's the.
I can
belongs
no
to the
longer see the
tenants.
wooden fence.
Right.
And the vegetation has now, I don't blame your tenants for complaining. The vegetation
that's
has
a
now
lot
grown
of stuff.
halfway into the yard.
Yes.
Right. Do you pay landscapers to landscape?
Yes,
Why,
but
why don't they just keep cutting it as part of their job every time they come?
They did that, and then what
They
happened?
didn't do that for a very long time.
Well, what happened was, as you can see from the previous pictures, it used to kind of stand up straight. And then when it started getting overgrown, it
Okay, but that doesn't happen in a day. And that doesn't happen in a week, and that doesn't happen in a month.
True.
Even with a lot of rain, it happened at best, at the shortest time possible in a year. So your guys are coming how often?
They come every week, but they
If they
just
come
do the
every week,
lawn.
why aren't they keeping it trimmed? Like it's as part of what you already pay. Because it becomes this kind of problem, then they're charging you another $450.
Right.
So question to you, Mr. Campbell. She spent $450 to take care of it, and you don't feel it's your responsibility. Why?
I have diagrams, Your Honor. There are two fences, her fence and my fence. That growth is coming from between our two fences.
Really?
And I have diagrams and pictures.
Let me see that. Is that accurate that these trees were planted in between the two fences?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what happens on his side of the fence.
No, that's not my question. You know, because this is a problem. So
Yes.
did you see that it's fence, tree, fence?
I see that there was something planted on the other side of my fence, and then another fence was put up over it.
Right. So these things that are growing are in between the two fences. Yes or no?
Yes.
So do you have a survey to show me whose property line it's on?
No, Your Honor, but...
Do you?
No.
Okay. I'm going to tell you the law anyway because it doesn't really matter. But I am curious because I'm always curious for the anatomy of a lawsuit. Why would you ignore the letter as opposed to trying to find some solution and figure out?
These plants are growing, Your Honor. This is a document that I got off the internet about California law.
I know the law, but
Okay.
what I really want to know,
But-
so is it because you feel that California law says it's not your responsibility? Is that what you're telling me?
That's correct.
But still, why ignore her? It's a different question that I'm asking. I'm not saying why not pay for it. I'm asking, that's the answer to why not pay for it. I'm asking you why ignore your neighbor.
In 2019, I think it was, she demanded that I replace her fence. It was all my responsibility.
Oh, okay.
And then I got the second letter.
Do you have the letter from 2019?
Yes.
I thought it was really polite, what I saw. Can I see it? So you got the second letter, too?
Yes.
Okay.
That one I have a copy of here.
Here's the first letter in 2019. I have it up on the screen. There are two fences between the property owned by you and owned by me. I'm enclosing photographs of the fence taken from the backyard, I guess, at my property. As you can see, the bushes planted on your side of the fence. Why? His side. have grown through my fence. I need to replace this fence, but it will require that the bushes be taken out. Would you be willing to talk informally about this, perhaps through email? That's super polite. Why would you ignore that? I mean, she's not demanding, she's saying, would you be willing to talk informally about this, perhaps through email, so there's no confusion about who's saying what? Why wouldn't you answer that?
I don't have an answer for that.
Yeah, there's no good answer because it's kind of unneighborly. But anyway, then the next letter you do have, and actually I have it too. Here it is. In July of 2022, she says, in February I informed you about the bushes on property owned by you. Now his position is they're not even owned by me because they're in the middle. How do you know they're owned by me? And if you don't have a survey, how do you know whose property they're on?
Because my... up to my
his answer's the same thing. Yeah, up to my fence, they're not there. He gets the same answer you have. So now we know they're in between the two.
My fence was there first.
Oh, come on. How do you know where your fence was placed?
Well,
the only way you'd know is with a survey. Let's look at what you write. With that letter enclosed several photographs. I've been paying $30 extra every month to have these bushes kept trimmed back off my fence. A week ago, I was contacted by my tenants. Listen, if you're paying them $30 extra a month, they're not doing the work if it grew like that, and you pay them every week to come.
Well, I don't know until my tenants complain, so.
I know, but I can't believe you paid $450 to them.
Well, I had to get rid of the bushes.
No, I get it. Why aren't you mad at did you change landscapers?
No.
You should, because if you're paying them if it's true, which is it? Are you actually paying them $30 a month, or you just said that in the letter?
No, I did pay extra to
do that. And did they do their job?
In the back because
right. Did they do their job?
It looked to me every time I was there that they were doing their job.
Okay. Looking at the pictures you sent me, it's obvious that they weren't doing the extra work you're paying them $30 extra a month for, were they?
Maybe I can demonstrate.
Just answer my question.
What question? What's the question?
Okay, so listen to my question. Looking at the picture you sent me, it is obvious that if you're paying them $30 extra every month to have these bushes kept trimmed, that they didn't do that. They didn't earn those $30 because they let it grow for however long it took to grow to half of your backyard.
They told me that the bushes had been growing over on the defendant's property.
That's exactly what you're paying them $30 extra a month for, to go like this with them. You know how long that takes?
All right.
No, seriously, how long does it take? With the gas-powered thing that they have.
I have not
how long does that take?
To finish this sentence.
It shouldn't even be $30 a month. But if you truly are paying them an extra $30, why aren't you mad at them for not doing it?
Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a one-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
This episode is brought to you by Skinny Pop Popcorn. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Oh, so light and crunchy. Skinny Pop Original Popcorn is the snack you've been searching for. Made with just 3 simple ingredients: popcorn kernels, sunflower oil, and salt. Snacking never felt or tasted so good. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Give yourself permission to snack and pick up Skinny Pop Original Popcorn today.
You have the right to cut off anything that is growing into your property, even if it makes this tree look stupid. When it's bushes, it doesn't really make the bushes look stupid. But imagine when it's a tree and there's a beautiful canopy, but if it's shading you and you don't want that shade, you have the right to cut from the hell to the heavens on your property. He can't overgrow it, but you have to pay for it. So you have the right, but also the financial responsibility, if it's something you want to do, to cut it back. He doesn't have the financial responsibility. That's not only California law, that's pretty much everywhere in the union. So where did you get the idea that, first of all, that they're his plants when they're in between both of your fences? Well, it's beyond my fence, it's beyond his fence.
I have a picture of his fence, which is just falling apart.
What does that have to do with my question? How does that tell me whose property the trees are on?
Well, I'm not offering it as proof of whose side the trees are on. What I'm saying is that
if they're on your property, you can just eliminate them. So you kind of want to do the survey. Now, that's going to cost you a couple $100, but you need to do a survey of your land to figure out if you can just remove them without permission by him. You can certainly trim them without his permission. That's the law. Okay? but you cannot sue him to trim the ones that are on your side. And it makes sense when you think about it because, you know, things grow. They grow. And what's he going to do? So he can't pay his gardeners to trespass on your land to cut them. So that's why the law usually is exactly what California law is, which is you on your side can cut it from down to up, whatever's bothering you, but you have to pay the bill. He does not have to pay the bill.
Okay. Would you look at the photos of what it looks like this week?
I'm sure it's awful. In other words, I agree with you. The picture you did show me is awful. The question is, whose responsibility is it?
Okay.
And it's
you're
yours.
saying the only way we can find out is do a survey.
Well, no. I'm saying that any neighbor's trees that are growing into your property, you can cut right now. Mm-hmm. It's just on you to pay the bill for that. You can cut it right now without anybody's permission. That's one. Then the second thing I'm saying is that if you get a survey and you find out that his property line ends where his fence is, remove the trees and you never have the problem again. I realize that you feel like this is a joint problem, but it either is or it isn't, depending on whose land they're on. It could be an entirely you problem.
Well, what about how they grow up through my fence? You can see they're not started on my side of the fence.
Why do you suppose all those roots grow on your side of the fence? Because nobody was cutting them back on your side. That's how all those roots grow. Because if you cut them, the roots don't have time to grow.
Are you talking about the ones that are coming up through the boards in the fence?
I'm talking about this. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about.
You see, they come from the other side of the fence and they're growing up through the boards in the fence.
Right, but that doesn't happen.
Side.
You understand that you don't have a 2-inch diameter bark until the thing has been growing for a while. And all you have to do is trim on your side so that it doesn't.
And then that's what I've been doing. That's
not what you've been doing. Okay, we're done debating this. It is your responsibility to take care of whatever's happening on your property. And that includes, before roots get this big, cutting them. You claim in your letter that you're paying $30 extra a month. I don't believe it. Because if you were, you'd be really angry that these people weren't doing anything. Because they weren't doing anything. Because you can't grow that even when there's a lot of rain. You don't wake up the next morning and see it that way. Yes, it grows quickly. It's a quickly growing plant. But there's still, especially if you're paying somebody to come every week, they should be trimming that back. No matter what, they should be trimming that back. Now, bonus for you. I'm giving you some free legal advice. If it turns out the whole thing is on your land, cut it all out, rip it all out, and he doesn't get a say in it. Even if it means that all of a sudden his side looks very unlush, tough for him, okay? That's my verdict, ruling for the defendant.
So the plaintiff learns a lesson about the laws determining shrubbery in California. And she learns the hard way here in court. Let's see her reaction. She has lost the case. Ms. Pace, what are you thinking right now?
If the law says I have to trim it and pay for it, then I will have to trim it and pay for it.
Yeah, but you're paying gardeners right now to come into your property. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, they can cut it. Tell them to cut it.
Well, they did. They charged me extra because they are there to mainly mow and edge and do the flower beds. So this is an extra thing that wasn't part of our original deal. So I did pay the extra. I think, it's easy to assume things when you haven't seen it all along throughout the years, but I had originally tried to negotiate building a new fence, but maybe that's not going to work out now.
Well, you've learned a little lesson about the law. What's interesting is you could have known this by doing a little research in California even before filing the lawsuit, and you wouldn't have come to court. You know that?
Yes.
I'm sorry, but you've lost the case. But are you going to now tell your guys to cut it and make yourself happy?
Well,
how about that?
They already did. I might have to do a survey to find out where I should put my block wall.
Okay. All right, good luck to you. All right, thank you. Sorry you lost.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Campbell, the defendant's on his way out of the courtroom. He didn't look too happy walking in here earlier today. You look better now. How do you feel?
I feel so much better. Yeah, it's very difficult to try and, deal with problems, neighbors, and who owns what, I trimmed that vegetation that comes over on my side of my fence several times, and I didn't present a bill to her, so.
All righty. Well, listen, congratulations. You're in the right here, and I know you feel much better.
I do.
That's good for you. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Harvey, what are your thoughts?
Okay, Doug, we have talked about this for many, many years in the People's Court, that in most states, almost every state, if there is a bush, a shrub, a tree, where branches overhang onto your property, you can cut right to the property line. You cannot go further and cut onto the other person's property. And you can't walk onto that person's property either. That's a trespass without permission.
I ordered an item for my kitchen online at an all-sales final sale. But when I received it and opened it, I found a different item and a note saying they ran out of that item that I ordered and they substituted something else. I don't want that something else. I called customer service and they said I'm out of luck because it was a final sale. What do you say, Judge Milian?
Of course not. I love when litigants will say to me, well, but I don't give refunds. Oh, yeah, you don't give refunds so long as you don't breach.
Right.
And it sounds like this online company sent her something, if that's true, that she didn't order, in which case they're the ones who breached.
Oh, you're going to love this thing. We're going to give you something else.
You'll love it. It's good enough for you.
But if you don't love it, all sales are final.
All sales are final. It says it right there. No, that's not how life works.
No.
You can't be the person breaching and then availing yourself of all sales final or no refunds.
Right. You know, when I was a kid, I used to order stuff from those little ads in the back of comic books and stuff, like novelties. Like I had to have the sea monkeys, X-ray specs, so I could see through walls, see through other stuff, and all that stuff. I had to have it, right? And I just remember sending away for it. And a couple of times they'd substitute other stuff and be like, "What? That's not what I ordered." I didn't have the savvy or the wherewithal when I was 12 years old to sort that out.
I'm surprised you had the money to even order that.
I barely did.
But that's, I think that some unscrupulous companies bank on the volume of people who will just not pursue it.
Right, exactly. And I find, I guess, that it's cost effective for them.
It's cost effective to just,
Right?
Yeah.
Hey, it's me, the Quenchies. I'm that late afternoon craving you just can't shake. Wait, what's that? Welch's Grape Aid? No! Made with real fruit and no added sugar, nothing answers the call of the Quenchies like Grape Aid. Got the Quenchies? Grab a Grape Aid in your juice aisle.
This is the plaintiff, Deetra Hill. She says her neighbor is a nasty lady who puts rotten food outside her house so her dog will eat it and get sick. She even laced the food with some kind of pills. Her dog had to be taken to the vet 5 times because she got him sick with diarrhea. And she's suing her for the $727 in vet bills she's incurred because of her. This is the defendant, Mildred Wilson. She says she's been putting stale breadcrumbs out for the birds to eat for 25 years. She's not poisoning the plaintiff's dog, who's been a nuisance in the neighborhood for years. She reported him to animal control. They ordered the plaintiff to surrender the dog. The plaintiff's angry about it. That's the only reason she's being sued today. She's accused of harming an animal.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant has been feeding her dog bad food, is intentionally poisoning her dog, and she wants the money for her vet bill. She is simply sick of it. But the defendant says she feeds the birds in her neighborhood and has been doing so for 25 years. She would never harm an animal and is not paying any vet bills for anyone. It's the case of you made my dog sick, and now I'm sick of you.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Ms. Hill, you are suing Ms. Wilson for $721 in vet bills that you incurred for your dog because, according to you, she was poisoning your dog. Tell me what you know.
Okay, Your Honor. I moved into the duplex, which is a side-by-side duplex, on January 1, 2021, and Mildred lives on the other side of the duplex. We share a common wall. Immediately after my moving in, when I would go walk my dog, someone was coming into my unit, damaging the floors.
I don't understand how they got in. How would someone get into your duplex to damage your floors?
Mildred had the key before I moved in. She had a key to my unit that she used to show me the unit. The owner gave her permission. The owner gave her the key to show me the unit. And that's how one way she had access to my unit.
And she would go, according to you, she would go into your duplex and do what to your floors?
Go around and around and around to make it look like my dog was damaging the floor with his paws, his nails,
so
scraping.
How would she damage the floors?
A sharp instrument was being used. I say this because I had a professional hardwood restorer come to my home to give me an estimate to redo the floors because they've been damaged. And the hardwood floor restorer gentleman brought to my attention, he said, these circle marks are like for a small dog. He said, your dog is a big dog, so from his front legs to his back legs, it's a wider width. But whoever was doing it was trying to make it look like
The floor guy said all that? The floor guy said all that?
Yeah, he saw the circles where you can see it going round and around. I didn't know who was doing it, but what I did start to see, and I thought it was quite interesting that my dog and I, we play inside, we play ball. And whenever he's chasing, we have fun, we're laughing. And what I started to see was that the balls start disappearing from the house, or the main big ball that he has, someone used a drill to drill a hole into the ball. And my dog didn't know, he still kept playing with it. And then subsequently after that, what happened was when I would go walk my dog, there was always some old rotten something in the grass, but it wasn't in front of our building, it was in front of the building next door. And I kept saying, no one lives in that unit. Who's putting that old rotten stuff out there?
What was it?
It was like, you know how if you cook something on the stove and you leave it in a pot and you leave it out for like a week and you forget it's in the pot and you take the lid.
Okay.
Well, if you take the lid off the pot, it smells really bad and moldy.
Okay.
It was like that. It looked like something like old and
rotten. How many times did your dog eat that?
I would say maybe like 6 times, 7 times.
Why wouldn't you just pull the leash on your dog so that your dog wouldn't eat it?
Good question. What happened was, initially, I didn't know it would be there, so I wasn't as vigilant. But then I started being more vigilant. So when I would walk my dog, I would hold his leash tightly as we passed that section. And when we would pass that section, oftentimes there would not be anything there on the grass. But when we would come back, then it would be out on the grass. So I don't
understand how, when I'm walking my dog, if my dog starts to go towards something it shouldn't have, I pull the dog away. Why don't you do that? Why does your dog repeatedly get sick like this?
So when I come back, I'm not as vigilant because I have already checked when I left.
Okay.
So when I come back, my guards are down, I'm more relaxed. But this time when we come back, now there's food out there. Do you see what I'm saying? And
barely.
That's how it was.
But okay, so what evidence do you have that she was leaving rotten food out?
Well, interestingly, the day that I went down to small claims court and filed my paperwork, I came home and my hands were full and I had put some things down on the chair to unlock my door and go on my door. And about an hour later, I realized I had left my cell phone. I think I had left it on the porch because that's when I had it last because I couldn't find it. So I go back out to look on the chair and there was my phone. Well, the next morning, I was going to go to Staples to print the pictures of the old rotten food that was on the grass, and the pictures were deleted off my phone.
So you think she went to your porch, took your phone, and deleted the pictures?
No, but next door, someone's in IT next door.
Can you just explain to me why you think she's doing this?
Because one night
Because you've never seen her do any of the stuff you're saying.
Yes, I did.
You saw her drill a hole into your dog's favorite ball.
Oh, okay, that part, no, but the food.
You saw her leave. You saw her leave rotting food to poison your dog.
Yes. One night I went to walk my dog, and I came back around the block. I saw her in the middle. I said, so you're the person that's been doing that. And she says, well, I'm just feeding the birds. I'm like, to myself, I'm saying, you're feeding the birds at almost 11 o'clock at night?
Okay. Ms. Wilson, were you leaving out poisoned food for Ms. Hill's dog?
No, Your Honor.
What was it you were leaving out?
I was leaving out bread for the birds that I've been feeding like for the past 25 years when I lived over there in the neighborhood.
She says you were doing it at 11 at night, and therefore it's a more nefarious motive. It doesn't sound like you're feeding birds at 11 at night. What say you to that?
I don't time myself. Sometimes I go out. I don't time myself with time when I go out to feed the birds. I could sometimes leave the bread out in the daytime. Sometimes I leave it out in the evening time.
Did you erase pictures of rotten food from her cell phone that she used to have?
No, Your Honor, I did not.
Did you ever touch her cell phone?
No, Your Honor, I did not.
But you did complain about the dog barking a lot, right?
Very much so.
Tell me about that.
I don't know about the dog. I heard she said her dog was a service dog. But this dog is not a service dog. It might be a service dog to her, but to other people and to me, the dog is vicious.
How so?
He never really got used to my scent. I would walk up the stairs. He would come charging to the bar door, scratching, growling like he's ready to attack me. A couple of times the dog came after me.
All right. Did you file a complaint with animal control on the noise level or with the landlord or with anybody?
I filed a complaint with the animal shelter.
Well, not the shelter. With animal control, you mean?
Animal control, yeah.
All right, so when you filed the complaint, what ended up happening with the complaint with the animal control?
We had a Zoom meeting, and then they said that they would look over it, do whatever they had to do about it. I got a decision, and they were stating that Miss Jetra had to get rid of her dog, give him up, or send him out of the city of Los Angeles, and revoke her license.
Did you get that response, Ms. Hill?
No, I didn't.
Since you failed to refute the allegations, your dog is to be relinquished to the Department of Animal Services or be permanently removed from the city of Los Angeles. What is that a picture of?
Okay, someone has been coming into my house putting bird seed in my drawer.
Why would anybody do that?
They're trying to get me to move. Everything that's been done consecutively are attempts to get me to move.
What is this a picture of?
That's a cracked containers. And when I purchased the set, they were all no damages anywhere. A week after I purchased them, the 3 biggest containers, someone was entering my home, and this has been going on since the first day that I moved in.
Can I ask you a question? If I see a cracked plastic in my pantry, my first thought isn't, oh my God, my neighbor snuck into my house to crack the so that I move. That is not the first thing I think of. What's this? This is what? A cut in your couch?
Because it's been a plethora of things that have been going on. That's just one of many. So that falls in line with all the other damages.
It boggles the imagination that you really think that she's coming in there. You don't change the locks. I think you're making all this up because she got your dog, with a court order that says it's got to be removed. I'm trying to understand what evidence you have that she is sabotaging your life like this. Do you have any video of her? Listen to my question. Do you have any video of her coming into your home?
Okay, Judge.
Yes or no?
I don't have video.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
So did you ever catch her in your home?
No. However, when we had our Zoom hearing and the officer asked her to explain how my dog looks, the way in which she described my dog, down to how tall he is, she described him to the T. And to describe him like that, you have to be very, very close to my dog. She said he was 4 feet tall. When he stands up,
I'm sorry, how is that evidence that she cracked your plastic container of baking goods?
Okay.
How does that mean she was in your house? If you walk your dog every day, she can see your dog. So how on earth would what you just say be evidence of it?
Okay, the reason why I filed the case was to incur the vet charges because while I don't have a camera showing her coming in and leaving out, I did have a general contractor come to my home, and he did take a look at the crawl space on my service porch, and I asked him, I said, can you tell me if someone can go up there and enter through my unit from the other side? And he did go up there, and he did say that someone can come into my unit from the other side.
So now you think it's not because she had a key to show you the place when you rented it, but it's because she's going through the crawl space and into your apartment to do things because she doesn't like your barking dog. But instead of killing your dog, she's going over there, and what she's doing is cracking your baked goods container or putting birdseed in your drawer. Did you ever go into her apartment, Ms. Wilson?
No.
Did you? Why is it that you did move?
I had a fire on the day after Thanksgiving. I had a fire, and my place was unlivable.
So, Ms. Hill, unless you have some kind, you're suing exactly for this, $721 in vet bills because your dog had a tummy ache. Is there any because you assume that she's poisoning your dog because one day you see her put out some food, and according to you, you had evidence that it was rotten food, but she must have gone to your porch and erased all your pictures, so now you don't have evidence. Okay.
I don't.
So do you have any other proof that you wish to submit to me?
I don't have any other pictures of the food because they were deleted off my phone. All the other beautiful pictures of my dog were interestingly deleted off my phone. Another lady around the corner who walks her dog on my street had been getting sick as well. So, but I haven't been able to reach her because she moved out of the country.
Okay, but here's the thing, Ms. Hill, here's the thing. In order to get $721 from Ms. Wilson, you would have to prove to me, because you have the burden of proof when you come to court, you've got to prove that it is more likely than not that this person was poisoning your dog, and therefore they're responsible for the vet bills because it's their fault that your dog was getting sick. Do you think you've proven that here today?
Well, what I can say, Judge, is that she was putting the rotten food not in front of our building. She was putting it in front of the building next door.
There's a very easy way. If you see that there's something your dog shouldn't eat, then you should be in control of your dog and make sure your dog doesn't eat it. You have repeated visits to the vet because your dog was having stomach aches. And you are somehow turning that into this lady who complained about your dog, saying it was vicious and barked too long and too loud, is the one who was leaving out poisoned food. You haven't proven that at all. My verdict in this case is for the defendant.
So the plaintiff fails to prove her case. She does not get $700 and some from the defendant. Ms. Hill, let me ask you, number one, what do you think about the judge's decision? You've lost the case.
Well, if I had the pictures that interestingly were deleted off my phone the day I filed the case, then that would have been my proof. So I have no idea how the pictures got deleted.
Are you blaming Ms. Wilson for that?
I don't think she did it, but the people next door, they're into IT, and she works closely with them. So I think she had an accomplice.
Well, here, let me ask you a simple question. It looks like the city has issued an order for you to get rid of the dog. You've done nothing about that yet, right? They may come and take the dog from you any day.
I didn't even know. Yeah, that's true. So when I get off this TV with you, I have to go and follow up on that because I never received that notice. And that's not the first piece of mail that I have never gotten that someone said that was sent to me.
All right. Well, bottom line is you did not prove your case. You don't get any $727 from the defendant, and you better do something or the city's going to come up and take your dog. It's going to happen. You got to take some action quick. Ms. Wilson, how do you feel about this case now? You know, you're the one who made all this action happen. Now you've left the premises. You're not even there anymore, right?
I'm gone, but other people still have trouble with the dog.
All right. So are you moving back in there? You moving back into that apartment?
Maybe. I'm thinking about it.
All right.
I don't have it yet.
Well, you may be out of the picture altogether. Anyway, you don't have to pay, so I guess you're relieved about that. Am I right? You feel good about that?
Very happy, very happy, very happy. Okay. Yes, sir. Right. Very happy.
All right. Well, there's a pretty fascinating case here. Thank you very much, and congratulations, you're off the hook. Harvey, this is kind of an unusual one. What do you think?
Well, look, I mean, in this case, Doug, the plaintiff had no proof. And that kind of raises a fundamental issue when you go to court. You cannot go to court on a theory that somebody did something that harmed you or harmed your animal. This is a situation where the plaintiff has no proof. It's all speculation. She has the burden of proof, and that ain't enough.
Why doesn't Judge Marilyn award lost wages more often? It seems like a legit ask to me.
Well, it could be a legit ask. It's just that people ask for lost wages in every single case.
Right.
They constantly think that a $100 lawsuit turns into a $7,000 lawsuit.
Right.
I was so upset that I couldn't go to work for 3 weeks. You know, lost wages can be a very legitimate expense. For example, if your dog attacks my dog and I have to take 3 days off to take my dog back and forth to the vet or in a hospital and care for the dog or whatever.
That may be compensable.
That's compensable because that's something that you can expect to have happen.
Right.
But a lot of people just sue for lost wages.
Right.
Well, it took me 3 days to prepare this case, so I should get paid.
Contract claim. You know, I loaned him $50 and
he didn't pay me back,
he
and
didn't pay me back.
all of a sudden a $50 claim. I'm a brain surgeon, so it's now a $10,000 claim.
Right.
That's not how it works.
I get $10,000 a minute, whatever it might be, right? I think it was Ben Franklin said that lost time is never found. So people are very aware of just frittering their time away, trying to prepare for a lawsuit, trying to defend a lawsuit, going to and from court and dealing with all that stuff.
Yeah,
but part of
their
it
annoyance is what they're trying to be compensated for.
And judges have to separate the normal inconveniences and frustrations that people confront in everyday life when they have any kinds of conflicts like this versus legitimate compensable
lost wages,
time.
compensable lost wages time. Yeah.
Okay, that's going to do it for this session of the People's Court. By the way, you want more People's Court? Check out our podcast. Check out our YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.